Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, good evening. So, we are again coming back with session number three, in which we are going to talk about the next topics on Java tutorial. Before that, just going to tell the new joinees, whoever has not attended the previous sessions. Just I'm going to give introduction to that. So basically, we are from CodeBeyond channel. We are providing free content on this particular channel, and it's totally free. So you just have to go to the playlist and you have to just see the sessions, whatever other educators are taking. And I am here taking sessions on complete Java tutorial. We have just started like yesterday itself, and we completed two sessions on it. One was on basically introduction to Java, like the features and uses and why do we need to learn Java and all of that. Some basic programs also we saw. And then in the second session, we learned about variables and data types, keywords, identifiers, and all of those things, right? So in today's session, also, we are going to complete some more topics of Java. We are going to complete operators, which we did not do yesterday. So today we are going to complete that. And then conditional statements, looping, switch case, break, continue, all of these things we are going to have a look upon, right? Uh, in evening, we'll again have one more session, maybe 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. We'll try to do it at 8 p.m. itself. And then we are going to see coding sessions. So this will be the coding session, the first coding session. I'll tell you, meanwhile, in this session itself, I'll tell you what all other things will be there in the coding session, so that, you guys must be knowing about it, and then you can join that as well. Fine. So hi Somu, hi CAC 530, and hello everybody. You can just ping in live chat whatever problems do you have, or if you have any suggestions, you can just type it in the live chat, and I'll be already seeing that maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes delay, and then we'll be able to answer your questions. So if you guys are new and you do not know about me, so my name is Ritwik Raj, and I've been working as a corporate trainer. I've been working as a research analyst, as a subject matter expert in most of the tech companies, and I have 3+ years of teaching experience. And I've trained graduates and corporate employees from Edison and Capgemini. I've trained more than 30K students till now. It is increasing day by day. The subjects which I take is mostly into front-end development, back-end languages, database, and interview preparations. Um, Already, I have created one front end playlist. If you have not seen it, please go ahead and watch it. There's a front end playlist which you can see in the CodeBeyond channel, and it is covering HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Soon I'll be coming up with jQuery and Tailwind CSS. So go ahead and have a look at it, because it's a long tutorial, so you'll be able to cover a lot of things. Also, there's one playlist on which I have taken tips and tricks on how to crack interviews. It's a 4-hour session. Just try to have a look at it if you are preparing for an interview. I'm sure it will gonna help you for interviews. So please do have a look on those sessions as well. You can use my code, which is RIT10, to get a free level sample test paper. If you do not know what is level, don't worry. In just 1 minute, I'm going to tell you about that. But if you know about it, you must be knowing that you have to give an actual test, and this sample test paper will help you a lot in that. So do use this code RIT10. This will help you in a better way. Okay, so what is Relevel? We'll talk about Relevel a bit, and then we'll move to our session. We'll continue our session. So basically, Relevel is a product by Unacademy, which is providing jobs to all the candidates of freshers or experienced people. So the reason of this particular Relevel product is nothing but many times candidates miss out on great opportunities, right? Like if somebody has done BSc or BCom and they want to move into IT sector or IT job, then what happens? They basically their resumes basically get rejected because they have the skill, they have the talent, but still it get rejected because they don't have the BE or BTech degree. Also, in some cases, what happens? Many people have done BTech or BE, but they are from Tier 3 college, and most of the MNC companies reject their resumes because they see that they are from Tier 3 college, and they do not give a chance to those people because company want better students from Tier 1, Tier 2. But this is also not, this should not happen. That's why we have Relevel, which is India's first self-studying platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream jobs. Now you can get a job basis on your skill and talent. You need not depend upon any degree or any other network in your LinkedIn or somewhere. Okay, now So what are the benefits of coming up to Relevel and registering yourself here? So basically over 100 plus companies are tied up with us, and you have to just give a Relevel test which is of 1000 marks, and you have to score above 700. If you score above 700, you will become eligible for it, and your profile will be shared with all those client companies who are having 1000 plus job positions across business development, backend development, front end development. So you can go ahead and give a try, because this will really help you boost up and you will get interviewed and hired, right? How to register yourself in Relevel? So basically you can see the link is given in the description. You can just click on it and it will take you to relevel.com. You have to just put down your mobile number and OTP, and then you'll be reach out to this particular screen where you have to select the test of your choice. So you can click on any of the tests which you want to give. Maybe your skill is front-end development, click on that, and then you have to book a slot when you want to give the level test. So suppose if you are Saturday, Sunday, if you are free, book a slot of that time. Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast. You can use my promo code mentioned in the description to get a bonus sample paper for the test. So you can fill in the details, full name, email ID, birth year, current state, and gender. And after that, you will be having the referral code. So you can put down RIT10 and click on apply. You'll be clicking on create account. Your account will be created something like this. And then you will be able to see the sample paper here. You can download the sample paper and you will be able to understand how those questions will be asked in your actual level test. So it will become very easy for you if you have the sample paper. Do not forget to use the coupon code. So if you've already registered for Relevel, then all the best for the exam. If you have not done it yet, then go ahead and do it. If you are not ready for the test, then don't worry, CodeBeyond channel is there. You can go ahead and have a look at it. You can see what all sessions are there, who all educators are taking which particular session of what domain, and then you can start preparing for it. Once you're upskilled, then you can come and register for Relevel, right? Okay, so there's a Telegram channel link in which you will get all the updates and notifications about the upcoming sessions. I have been very continuous, and from yesterday I am sending some links and everything in this Telegram channel. So please do join this, because otherwise you won't be able to get notifications. This link is also given in the description, so please do have a look there. Also, please do subscribe the CodeBeyond channel. First thing, you will get notifications in your YouTube app. Second thing, you won't be able to give me the chats in the live chat if you're not subscribed. So please do subscribe the CodeBeyond channel, and also like and share the video if you're liking it, so that more number of people will be able to get to know about this. Okay, because this is all free content, so we want more and more number of people should be knowing about it. Fine. So let's take some comments and then we are going to start this particular session. Hi Tomu, good afternoon, but I'm using VS Code instead of IntelliJ ID. Is it okay? Yes, it's totally fine. You can use any particular ID. There's no change because we are just into starting of Java, so there'll be no change. There'll be no functionalities which will be different from any different IDs, so there's no problem in using VS Code. Hi Abhi Verma, is it okay to start CP with Java? You can, but again, Java is much more complex language, and for DSA and CP kind of stuff, the code becomes much more larger, and you have to apply a lot of things when you're writing a program for solving some questions like for DSA or CP. So that's why people do recommend Python or C++, not Java, because it's much tough language. And that's why I will also recommend that if you have not started with DSA with Java or CP with Java, then go ahead and do it with any other language. If you are willing to do it with, or if you have started, then please go ahead and do it, because there are some people who are still doing it with Java. So you can, but CS, yeah, correct. Okay, thanks. So we'll be starting with operators. Yes, we'll be starting with operators. We could not start operators yesterday, so today we should continue with that first. Yes, we are doing that, Ankita. Cool. So let's get started with operators first. So what we are going to do here. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to first start with operators, and then we are going to see conditional statements, and then we are going to see looping constructs. Okay. So first of all, we are going to see the operators. Now, these are all the operators. Now try to listen to it very carefully. What are these operators and how does it work? Okay. So first of all, every tutorial, whatever you can see in website, right? Those all tutorials will say a lot of things. Some will say there are not these many operators. Some will say that there are only 4 operators or 3 operators in the list. So it doesn't care. You don't have to care about those tutorials. You just have to care about if you know all the operators or not. Okay, so basically I have segregated in much more simpler way here, so that you can actually see what all operators are there. Okay, so beside these all things, there are no operators, there are no other operators in Java. Okay, so let's start from unary operator. Let's first talk about all of them a little bit, and then one by one we'll see about it. Okay, let me just show you my IntelliJ IDEA. This is what it is, and I'll also show you the browser so that you can have a look. Okay, so these are the 3 schemes which we'll mostly use. That's why I'm just showing it to you. So we'll certainly move to IntelliJ IDEA once, but right now we'll just discuss the theory part. So unary operator, see the name itself says unary, right? Unary means whenever you have only one particular variable with this operator. Okay, so let's say plus sign, right? What is a plus sign? Whenever you write a number 5, right? So number 5 is a positive number. If I know that it's a positive number, because we know that even if you don't write any sign in front of any number, it's a positive number, right? So even if you write plus sign, plus 5, then also it's a positive number. If you write negative sign, it's a negative number. That is what is called as unary operator. So in unary operator, we just have single variable, single letter in which we are applying those signs, right? There are some more unary operator which we can use. There are increment and decrement operator, which we'll talk about later, because some of you must be knowing about it, some of you must not be knowing about it. So I'll just talk about this later, and then let's come to arithmetic. So in arithmetic, basically the normal operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all those will be there. What is shift operator? Shift operator is basically a kind of operator which converts your decimal number into a binary. Please understand, when I say decimal, right, it's not that floating point wala decimal. Okay, understand this from the beginning itself. Whenever you are into CSE, whenever you are into computer science, whenever you are learning any programming language, keep this in your mind that in programming language, numbers are called as decimal numbers. Normal numbers are called as decimal numbers. Okay, all the pointers like the 2.56 are called as floating point numbers. Okay, so normal numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these are called as decimal numbers. And when you talk about 2.5, 2.6 or 3.8, these are called as floating point numbers. Also, the binary numbers are 0 and 1. Fine. So these 3 things, please keep it in your mind. Coming back to shift operator, shift operator basically works. It converts your decimal number into a binary format, and then whatever binary format will come, it will keep on shifting the binary numbers. So that is what is shift operator. You have not understood anything, don't worry. When we'll deep dive into shift operator, I'll tell you about that. Relational comparison operator is basically how you can compare 2 things. So let's say I have 1 digit 5, and then I'm saying equal to 6. So 5 double equal to 6. Double equal to means compare both the values, but both the values are different, right? One is 5, one is 6. So it will say false. Why it will say false? Because those both values are not equal. So that is what is relational or comparison operator. We have some more operators. We'll see about that when we'll deep dive inside it. But right now, that's what we know. Bitwise operator. Bitwise operator is just like shift operator, but in Bitwise, shifting doesn't happen. So shifting doesn't happen here. In this one, something else happens. We'll talk about that. Logical operator is again a logical value operator. So we have and, or, and not. If you are from engineering background, you must be knowing about logic gates. So that's what we use here in logical operator. I'm just giving a brief, okay? We'll move to unary operator again, don't worry. Ternary operator is used, see how unary operator is there. Unary means one variable. So in ternary, we use 3 variables, right? So A question mark, B colon, C. This is the format of ternary operator. We'll talk about that. Don't worry. Assignment operator is basically how you assign values. So simple equal to, when we write A equal to 5. So what is the meaning of equal to here? Equal to means that A के अंदर 5 value है, right? So that is what is called as assignment, क्योंकि मैं 5 value को assign कर रहा हूँ variable A को, right? So that's what is assignment operator. Fine. So A equal to 5 means 5 असाइन हो रहा है a को. Cool. So let's quickly move into individual operators one by one, and then we'll see how does it work. So first of all, unity operator, you can see a plus sign, minus sign. This is the increment operator, this is the decrement operator, and this is the logical complement operator. If you can see this, it's written logical complement operator, right? तो मतलब ये logic operator भी है. Remember this logical operator? ये logical operator भी है. Okay, we'll talk about it. What is unity plus? कुछ नहीं करता. This is just to make it a number as positive. नेगेटिव साइन क्या करता है? जस्ट टू मेक इट नेगेटिव, जस्ट टू मेक द नंबर एज नेगेटिव. इंक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर, डिक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर, वी विल टॉक अबाउट इट राइट अवे. कॉम्प्लीमेंट इज नथिंग बट टू कन्वर्ट योर बाइनरी नंबर उल्टा. सपोज आई हैव वन नंबर विच इज 0000. ओके, सो इफ आई राइट complement there, the answer will be 1111. Just that. This is the meaning of that. Okay, so it just complements that. ये भी बाद में डिस्कस होगा जब लॉजिकल आएगा, सो डोंट वरी. फर्स्ट लेट्स टॉक अबाउट इंक्रीमेंट. इसमें थोड़ा ध्यान देना बिकॉज आई विल बी आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस, so please make sure that you are understanding each of the things, right? So first of all we have increment operator. increment operator के अंदर दो चीज़ें होती हैं, प्री इंक्रीमेंट और पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट. ठीक है, इंक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर मीन्स आपको जो भी नंबर दिया गया है उसमें 1 ऐड करना है. इंक्रीमेंट, सो 1 ऐड करना है. तो 1 ऐड करना तो समझ में आ गया. मतलब अगर मेरे पास 5 है तो अगर मैं लिख रहा हूँ इंक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर उसमें, तो वो 6 हो जाएगा. फाइन. बट यहाँ पे दो चीज़ें हैं, प्री इंक्रीमेंट और पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट. तो एक है प्लस प्लस ए और एक है ए प्लस प्लस. मतलब प्री इंक्रीमेंट में आप क्या करते हो, ये जो साइन है प्लस प्लस का वो आप वेरिएबल के पहले लगाते हो, मतलब आप प्रीफिक्स करते हो, प्रीफिक्स. पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट में आप वही साइन को बाद में लगाते हो, मतलब पोस्ट फिक्स करते हो. फाइन. अब ये दोनों का डिफरेंस क्या है, इन दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है? सो लेट्स हैव अ लुक इन आवर प्रोग्राम इटसेल्फ. एक प्रोग्राम में आते हैं पहले. यहाँ पे लेट्स ट्राई टू डू समथिंग. लेट्स से मैं यहाँ पे एक इंट ए ले रहा हूँ एंड आई एम जस्ट गिविंग इट अ वैल्यू इंट ए इक्वल टू 10. ठीक है, अगर मैं यहाँ पे a प्रिंट करूंगा, राइट, इफ आई एम जस्ट प्रिंटिंग a here, right? So what am I doing here? Can I remove these all things? Do you want me to remove? I'll just remove these all things. So you can see here a equal to 10. यहाँ पे मैं a प्रिंट कर रहा हूँ. Remember that मैं यहाँ पे a प्रिंट कर रहा हूँ, ये डबल कोट में. Can you see that? ये डबल कोट में. So if I run this, what's gonna happen? It's gonna print me a, not 10. Okay. So if you look at it, it is printing me a, not 10. See, डबल कोट के अंदर आप जब भी लिखोगे ना कुछ भी स्टेटमेंट, तो वो स्टेटमेंट डायरेक्टली प्रिंट हो जाएगा, डायरेक्टली प्रिंट हो जाएगा. सपोज इफ आई एम नॉट राइटिंग दिस विद द डबल कोट, एरर नहीं दे रहा है. वाई इज इट नॉट गिविंग एरर? बिकॉज सिस्टम को पता है, जावा को, जेवीएम को पता है कि ए कुछ तो है इस प्रोग्राम में. तो ए क्या है? ए वेरिएबल है जिसके अंदर वैल्यू क्या है? 10 है. तो अगर मैं इसको रन करूंगा तो ये प्रिंट क्या करेगा? 10. ठीक है, ये प्रिंट 10 करेगा. मान लो यहाँ पे मैं b दे देता हूँ, तो ये लाइन अब एरर बन चुका है. एरर क्यों है ये? क्योंकि b नाम का कुछ है ही नहीं. वी डोंट हैव एनीथिंग एज b. सो लेट्स सी ये रन करने पे क्या होता है. रन करने पे एरर आ रहा है. ठीक है, दैट्स हाउ इट वर्क्स. नाउ व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू हियर इज, लेट्स से मैं यहाँ पे पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट कर रहा हूं. कैन यू सी दैट? पोस्ट फिक्स कर रहा हूं मैं, इंक्रीमेंट को क्या कर रहा हूं? पोस्ट फिक्स. तो ए का वैल्यू 10 है, पोस्ट फिक्स कर रहा हूं. अगर मैं अपने पीपीटी पे जाऊं तो पोस्ट फिक्स में क्या लिखा है? प्रिंट देन इंक्रीमेंट. मतलब प्रिंट करना है उसके बाद इंक्रीमेंट करना है. ओके, तो इसको कर देते हैं एक बार रन एंड लेट्स सी कि होता क्या है. तो यहां पे देख रहे हो अभी क्या हो रहा है? वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट नहीं हुआ क्योंकि पहले मैंने क्या लिखा है पीपीटी में? मैंने लिखा है प्रिंट एंड देन इंक्रीमेंट. तो पहले वो प्रिंट हो जा रहा है, पहले वो प्रिंट हो गया. वैल्यू क्या था? ए का 10 था, तो 10 प्रिंट हो गया. अब जो है अंदर ही अंदर ए का वैल्यू 11 हो गया है. अंदर ही अंदर ए का वैल्यू क्या हो गया है? 11 हो गया है. क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने बोला है प्रिंट देन इंक्रीमेंट. तो पहले मैंने प्रिंट कर दिया, बाद में ये इंक्रीमेंट हो गया. अब ए का वैल्यू क्या है? 11 है. तो अब मान लो मैं यहाँ पे फिर से लिख रहा हूँ ये सेम चीज़ मैं यहाँ पे फिर से यही सेम चीज़ लिख रहा हूँ, ए प्लस प्लस। अभी ए का वैल्यू क्या है, 11 है, राइट। तो पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट क्या बोलता है, फर्स्ट फर्स्ट प्रिंट एंड देन इंक्रीमेंट, राइट। तो अभी ए का वैल्यू 11 है, राइट, तो मतलब यहाँ पे 11 आना चाहिए। लेट्स रन दिस, यू कैन सी 11। और अभी इंक्रीमेंट करना बाकी है, तो अब यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा, इंक्रीमेंट। ठीक है, ये होता है पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट। सो पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट में सबसे पहले क्या होता है, प्रिंट होता है, जो भी वैल्यू पहले प्रिंट हो जाएगा और फिर इंटरनली वो वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट हो जाएगा। ठीक है, सो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस इन योर पोस्ट इंक्रीमेंट। अब इसको कमेंट करते हैं, चलते हैं यहाँ पे, इसको भी रिमूव कर देंगे और इसको भी रिमूव कर देंगे और इसको यहाँ से रिमूव करके यहाँ पे डाल देंगे। तो यहाँ पे मैंने लिखा है प्लस प्लस है, तो मतलब मैंने प्रीफिक्स किया है, राइट, मैंने नंबर पे प्रीफिक्स किया है। अब प्रीफिक्स का मतलब क्या होता है, पीपीटी में देखते हैं, तो पीपीटी में क्या लिखा है, इंक्रीमेंट देन प्रिंट, मतलब पहले आप नंबर को इंक्रीमेंट करो और फिर आप प्रिंट करो, राइट। सो लेट्स डू दैट, देखते हैं यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। तो पहले मुझे इंक्रीमेंट करना है, वैल्यू क्या है, ए का 10 है, पहले इंक्रीमेंट करना है, तो पहले इंक्रीमेंट करेंगे। इंक्रीमेंट करके कितना आया, 11 आया। तो अब अगर मैं इसको रन करूँ तो यहाँ पे क्या प्रिंट होगा, 11 प्रिंट होगा, क्योंकि मैंने पहले इंक्रीमेंट किया फिर प्रिंट किया। सो अगेन आई विल डू इट इन इंग्लिश, डोंट वरी, we'll try to explain this again in English, okay? So basically what we have done in pre-increment, in pre-increment what we have done, we have prefixed this plus plus sign with a, and then what we have done is we have written in the PPT that we have to first increment and then print, right? So what is the value of a now, 10. So first I have to increment, so let's increment when we will do it will become 11, right? And then I need to print it, so I will run this and it will get printed. Similarly, in the same way, now the value of a is 11, right? So if I write here plus plus, so it's what it's gonna be, 11. First I have to increment, so it will become 12, and now I have to print it, so it will print 12. Cool, fine. Similarly, we have the decrement, okay? But now before moving into decrement, I'll give you one question here, try to solve that, okay? And I'll make that question much more complex so that you get a habit of practicing about it, fine? So let's say that I'm giving here one question to you. What I'm doing here is, I'll remove these comments first of all. we will take 3 examples. First example, I'll be giving some hints to you so that you can tell me the answer if you won't be able to. So first I'll take only the simple one. I won't be taken any hard one. Can you guys please tell me the answer of it? Do tell me the answer which will be printed in the output, okay? Don't tell me the internal values. Tell me the value which will be printed. Please do tell me the value which will be printed here. Remember, it's println, right? You can comment whatever you want, but do tell me answer kya hoga iska, okay? Guys, I'm waiting, so please do tell me the answer of it. So first is post increment, and then we have post increment again. Okay, 10, 11 and 13. So let's have a look. Right? So first of all, यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, 10 हो रहा है, right? So post increment, what does it say? It says first print it and then increment. तो पहले यहाँ पे print हो जाएगा क्या? पहले print होगा 10. After that, this value will become 11. Then this 11 is now the value of a. So what's gonna happen? Basically 11 print होगा और increment होगा ये 12 में. And now that is pre-increment. So 12 is already the value. First I have to increment. तो जब मैं इंक्रीमेंट करूंगा तो ये वैल्यू 13 हो जाएगा. सो लेट्स हैव अ लुक. द आंसर विल बी 10, 11 and 13. Fine. Don't go to these values. These values which I'm writing is the internal changing values, and this is the output values. Okay, fine. So let me give you one more example of it and then we'll move to our decrement. Decrement also, I won't be explaining you how it will work. I'll just give you some questions so that you can practice it, right? So tell me the answer of this. Quickly tell me the answer of this and then I'll change the question. These are most easiest ones. I'll change the question with more variables and then we will try to see. Uh, I'll tell you this later. Guys, what will be the answer of this? Anybody? Quick, you should be quick because these are the questions which will be asked in the MCQs. So be quick. Okay, 20, 22, 23, 23. Okay. Okay, perfect. 20, 22, 23, 23. So basically it's the same thing. You will get here 20 because that's the post increment. So first you will need to print it. Value will get updated to 21, right? And then you will print here 21, no, 22 because I have pre-increment and that will be the same value which will be there. So 2022 and then again we have used pre-increment and then we have used post increment. So this will be the answer 20. Okay. Now quickly I'm changing some of the data. So please do tell me the answer of this as well. You can take time. Okay. Try to solve this one. This is the last one and then we'll move to our next part. सर आप डीएसए भी कवर करोगे क्या? विवेक कुमार गुप्ता will not be able to cover DSA, but we are going to cover collection framework and map. That is mostly the theoretical topic of DSA, right? The trees, graphs, and queues, stacks, linked list, array list. Those things will be covered, but not the total DSA which you're talking about, the algorithms and those things will not be covering here. Maybe we'll create another playlist of that and then we'll be able to cover that because most of the people do not try to cover DSA with Java. So that's why. Tell me the output of this. There should be 8 numbers. So please do let me know the output of this. If you guys are doing this, please do let me the answer of this. See, if you guys are not being able to do it, what you can do is you can try to do something like this. You can try to write all the outputs like अपडेटेड नंबर कौन सा है बी का, अपडेट नंबर कौन सा है सी का, व्हाई आई एम डूइंग दिस नॉट अ फन which I'm doing here. Okay, these kind of questions are used in MCQs. These kind of questions will be because these are much tricky ones, right? You will get confused C और B में या A में उसका वैल्यू आप कुछ और लिख दोगे, and options will be like this कि you will get confused. So try to do it in such a manner that see, you will be getting afraid of this question because this is so confusing, right? And these are the type of questions that will be asked in MCQs. The first round of every MNC company, right? This is what they give you. Anybody else? Where is uh, Manish, Somu, Ankita? I'm giving you time. You can go ahead and have a look. Okay, Amit is doing it. It's okay. You guys can give me the answer later on also. No problem. Right? If you're just taking time, because it will take time. So you can see the output here. So I think Amit is doing really well. He has understood the concept, and I guess most of you have understood this concept. And it's just that you must be writing the answer, but this is the answer. Okay. So I hope you have understood this. Decrement operator is also the same. It's just that you have to subtract one from the number. Okay. So there also we have the same concept. We have pre-decrement, we have post-decrement, and you can do it in the same manner, right? This is one of the example which I've given here, but again, this you know it. Fine. So let's move to our next operator, which is arithmetic operator. Now here basically we have the very simple kind of operators: plus, minus, multiplication and division, and modulus. Now try to understand. Plus minus समझ में आता है, right? We can understand plus minus, we can understand all these kind of operators which we have seen right away. So if I'm writing b plus a, obviously it's gonna add, right? We know the answer what it's gonna come, right? So but what if I'm writing here, let's say I'm putting a division sign. This is a division sign, right? So a straight slash will be a division sign. So let's say if I'm giving the value of b as 12 and a as 2, and if I do this, what am I getting here? I'll be getting 6. Why 6? Because this is the quotient. So the quotient I'm getting here, right? 2 6 is 12. So I'm getting the quotient here. So remember that division is always giving me quotient, okay? But what is modulus? Modulus, the sign is percentage. So whenever you're using percentage, this is going to give you the remainder, right? So modulus, whenever you're using, you are getting remainder. Can you see you're getting 0? That means you're getting the remainder. Fine. So this is the one thing which is very important in arithmetic operators. This can be your MCQ question also. So do try to understand this and do not forget about this. Modulus and division, those are two different things in Java. So division, modulus. Okay. I hope there is no doubt in this. Let's move ahead. Relational operators. Relational operators are nothing but comparison operators. Again, there are so many relational operators. So let's try to see one by one. You can see here double equal to, right? It is not single equal to. This is the most famous question in Java also. Like, what is the difference between equal to and a double equal to? So equal to is basically the assignment operator, right? Like when you assign something. So if you look here, when we are assigning 2 to a, right? When we are assigning the value 2 to a, that's when we are using assignment operator. But when I say that if a is equal to b or not, when I'm doing this, then it's basically a comparison operator. So we are comparing the values of a with b. So if I run this, it says false, right? If it will be same, it will be saying true. This is the same thing as in JavaScript also, which I have told you. But in JavaScript, we have one more operator, which is triple equal to. I don't know if you know that. if you're not knowing about JavaScript, check out front end development playlist. You will be able to see all these concepts taught there. Now, so we have not equal to here is just the opposite of equal to. So if it is not equal to, it's gonna say true. So just the opposite of whatever we are learning. If I write here, see right now it was giving false, but right now if I give here this one, I don't know if you can see my screen. You can see my screen. If I do this, you can see here you are getting true. Why true? Because yes, it is not equal. So that's why you're getting true. Next, we have greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. No explanation is required here because you know how it will work. See, in relational operator, the only thing which you need to remember is that यहाँ पे whenever you are using relational operator, the output will be a boolean. The output will be a boolean. Can you see? False, true, false, true, false, true. Every time whenever you're using a relational operator, your output will be a boolean value. Remember that. Do remember that, okay? Arithmetic में your value will be a number. Can you see a number? Right? Increment, decrement में भी your value will be a number. अभी तक ऐसा कोई भी ऑपरेटर नहीं था जिसमें आउटपुट हमेशा बूलियन आ रहा था. So relational operator is one of the operator in which your output will be always boolean. Okay, boolean means true and false, 0 and 1. Let's go to the bitwise and shift. See, मैंने ये दोनों को साथ में क्यों लिखा है? Bitwise and shift को मैंने साथ में क्यों लिखा है? क्योंकि so that you don't get confused. Because in many of the tutorials, what happens, they either they try to take separate shift operator and bitwise operator, or they make it together. ठीक है? Together ही समझना important है because bitwise and shift is common. Okay, it's only the working which is different, but everything else is same. So have a look क्या होता है bitwise में. Okay, first of all, please remember that in bitwise always the symbols are individual symbols. We have only one symbol which we use in all of our bitwise. And हो, or हो, XOR हो, या complement हो, we'll always be using only one individual symbol. Why I'm saying that? Because bitwise में भी and or XOR and complement होता है, और logical में भी and or and complement होता है. But here in logical operator we do not use the single individual operator, we use it double. ठीक है, तो ये difference है. इससे याद रखना कि कौन सा logical है, कौन सा bitwise है. Fine, which one is logical, which one is bitwise, you can remember that by this. Logical not, we give exclamation mark, but in bitwise we give this kind of tilde. This is called as tilde. Okay, this you can see in the keyboard, you can see the corner one, the top left corner. That sign it is. Okay, let's try to see some examples of this because we need to understand how this works, right? First of all, please understand, right now we are not talking about logical, we are only talking about bitwise. What is bitwise? Bit means, yesterday I told you what is bit. Bit is 0 or 1, right? So whenever it is bitwise operator, understand that any decimal number whichever is given, we need to convert that into binary. We need to convert that into bitwise. We need to do that. So let's say if I'm saying here, I have this number, I have this 2 here and I have this 12 here, right? Let's remove this int c equal to 42. You should not get confused. And here I'm just going to write A and B. So what's and? What's and here? The and is basically this bitwise and, right? If you remember your logic gates in your electronics book, or maybe in your first year of engineering, you must be knowing what is and, or, and not. If you do not know, don't worry. And gate, if you know that, right? And is I'll give you the most simplest way to remember this table. So and is basically multiplication. Okay, it's multiplication. So basically there are 4 values which happens here. These are the inputs. Okay, these are the inputs, and this is the output part. Okay, let me just write it first and then I'll show you how I have written it, क्योंकि अभी इसको समझ में नहीं आएगा आपको कुछ. Let me just write this. जिसको समझ में आ रहा है well and good, जिसको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है just wait. See, so what I have done, see these are inputs. Okay, these all are inputs. मान लो ये A है, मान लो ये B है, और ये result है. Result in the sense output है. Fine. So this is A ठीक है, दिस इज ए, दिस इज बी। ए का वैल्यू अगर जीरो है, बी का जीरो है, सो मल्टीप्लाई करो। इफ वी आर डूइंग मल्टीप्लीकेशन ऑफ जीरो इंटू जीरो, इट विल बिकम जीरो। वन इंटू जीरो जीरो, जीरो इंटू वन जीरो, वन प्लस वन, वन इंटू वन वन। दिस इज वॉट इज एंड। सिमिलर थिंग यहाँ पे भी होगा। फाइन, I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Again, in the same way, what we can do the same thing for our OR. Okay, but in OR, it's basically plus. What is it? It plus. So it's add. It is adding. Here it was multiplying. Now I'm adding. So 0 plus 0, 0. 1 plus 0, that's not 0. 1 plus 0, that's not 0. And then 1 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 1 1 होता है. Don't think about that carry part here. Okay, don't go with this carry part. 1 1 is 0 and then 1 is carry. Don't do that here. 1 1 is 1 only. Fine. So this is what I'm getting for my OR. Similarly, we can have our NOT. Okay, this is basically the complement one. ठीक है, ऑल्सो ये क्या होता है, यूनरी होता है। यूनरी होता है ये, एक ही वेरिएबल पे यूज हो सकता है ये। दीज ऑल कैन बी यूज्ड इन टू वेरिएबल्स, नॉट और कॉम्प्लीमेंट कैन बी यूज्ड इन ओनली वन वेरिएबल। सो मुझे इन दोनों का नीड नहीं है। आई डोंट नीड दिस बी पार्ट, आई डोंट नीड इट। मुझे नहीं चाहिए ये बी, क्योंकि मुझे सिर्फ ये एक ही वेरिएबल में यूज करना है। सो आई डोंट नीड दैट। सो ऑल्सो इफ देर इज ओनली टू वेरिएबल्स, आई विल बी हैविंग ओनली दिस थिंग। अगर जीरो होगा तो रिजल्टेंट वन होगा, अगर वन होगा तो रिजल्टेंट जीरो होगा। राइट, दिस इज व्हाट इज योर कॉम्प्लीमेंट। अगेन लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट दी सिंबल्स। अगर आप इसका सिंबल देखो, इसका सिंबल है एंड, इसका सिंबल है और, एंड नॉट कॉम्प्लीमेंट का सिंबल इज दिस वन। आई डोंट नो इफ आई कैन राइट दैट। Okay, I can write it. Fine. So if you want to note this down, please note it down. I'll just close this a little bit. This is what is your AND, this is what is your OR, and this is what is your not complement ka table. Fine. Now let's do this. Okay, let's just try to do this 2 and 12 वाला code. So 2 का binary क्या होगा? 2 का binary क्या होगा? 2 का binary is basically हमें 8 bit में चाहिए। So 0 0 0 पहले लिख देते हैं, फिर 0 0 and then 1 0. This is what is 2, 8 4 2 1, remember yesterday. And इसका क्या होगा? So 12 is there, right? So 12 basically आप 8 9 10 11 12, so 8 and 4, so we can have this one, right? now आपको इन दोनों पे and का लॉजिक लगाना है। so if you can see and, right? so let's do that. and means what? and means multiply. so if you look here in this table, right, in this table, 0 and 0, let's start from the last. So what is 0 and 0? 0 and 0 is 0, so we'll type here 0. Then what's next? If you can see here, we have 1 and 0. So 1 and 0 mein kya hai? Again we have 0. What's next? 0 and 1. If you look at here, again we have 0. Then 0 and 1, again we have 0. So it's basically 0 0 0 0. This is what is gonna give me the answer. तो इसको अब आप डेसिमल में अगर चेंज करोगे, so what will be the answer? 0 only, right? So let's have a look. If I run this, see, it's giving me 0. Can you see? So that's what is your AND. Similarly you can do it for OR, and similarly you can do it for NOT. तो एक बार NOT का करके देखते हैं, ठीक है? So I'll just write here the same thing. If anybody is getting bored, I know why you are getting bored, because you must be knowing about these things. I can't do anything because beginners are also here, and I want everybody to understand this, right? So I'm getting here a negotiation, that tilde sign, and I'm just giving here A. Again आप समझो, A का कॉम्प्लीमेंट चाहिए मेरे को, राइट? तो ये A का बाइनरी नंबर ये है, इसका कॉम्प्लीमेंट क्या हो जाएगा? इसका कॉम्प्लीमेंट क्या होगा? बेसिकली सब नंबर को उल्टा कर दो। सो डोंट यू थिंक दिस शुड बी द आंसर? आप अभी तक कहाँ गायब थे? Why you are saying like that? Okay, so you can see this, right? This is how you can solve any kind of question. But अभी भी एक हमारा ऑपरेटर बाकी है which is XOR, right? XOR में बहुत लोगों को प्रॉब्लम होता है और समझ नहीं पाते कि इसको कैसे करना है. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम MCQs में XOR ही पूछा जाता है. एंड का समझ में आ गया कि मल्टीप्लाई करना है, और का समझ में आ गया कि प्लस साइन है, नॉट का समझ में आ गया कि कुछ ऐसा है. XOR का कैसे करेंगे? लेट्स ट्राई टू सी दैट. सही, हम लिखते हैं यहाँ पे XOR अपना. एंड XOR में क्या करना है हमें, इसका कोई नॉर्मल फंडा है, ठीक है, वो हम लोग ट्राई करके देखेंगे. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द ऑपरेटर इज दिस वन, ठीक है, एंड इसका शॉर्टकट क्या है वो मैं आपको बताता हूँ. सो फर्स्ट लेट मी जस्ट ट्राई टू डू दिस हियर. अगर मैं यहाँ पे XOR कर दूं तो आंसर क्या आता है. तो यहाँ पे देखिए आंसर क्या आ रहा है, राइट? यू आर गेटिंग 14. कैन यू सी दैट? यू आर गेटिंग 14 एंड -3. -3 इज बेसिकली दिस वन. लेट्स नॉट कंफ्यूज यू. इसका मतलब ये है कि ये -3 है, ठीक है. डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. लेट मी जस्ट रिमूव दिस. ओके, सो XOR का वैल्यू आ रहा है हमारा 14, राइट? हाँ, सो नाउ हैव अ लुक. यहाँ पे आपको क्या करना है बेसिकली. XOR में क्या होता है ना, जो भी आपका सेम वाला नंबर है ना, जो भी आपका सेम नंबर है उसको आप 0 रखो, और जो भी आपका डिफरेंट नंबर है उसको आप 1 रखो. ओके, सो ये 0 हो जाएगा, राइट? ये 0 हो जाएगा. दिस इज व्हाट इज XOR. बट अगेन अगर आप ये एक्सप्लेनेशन दोगे ना इंटरव्यूअर को, तो दे विल रिजेक्ट यू, टोटली दे विल रिजेक्ट यू, बिकॉज ये आपने एक शॉर्टकट मेथड निकाला कि XOR को कैसे रटना है, राइट? सो जब भी XOR आएगा व्हाट यू विल डू, यू विल रिमेंबर दैट जब भी सेम नंबर रहेगा सर ने बोला था 0 करने, जब भी डिफरेंट रहेगा सर ने बोला था 1 करने. दिस इज व्हाट यू विल अप्लाई, राइट? बट remember the logic. So for XOR, what is the logic? The logic is A complement B plus B complement A. This is the logic for your XOR. Complement क्या होता है? Opposite होता है. So let's try to do this. Okay, let's try to put this first वाला code here. So 0 value है A का, so it will become what? 1. And then we have the B value. What is B value? 0. So let's try to do that, and then add, and then B complement what will become 1, and then A, so it will become 0. See, I'm just putting the values. I've taken this first one, I've taken this first values into consideration, and I've given that here. So A complement is 1, and then B is just normal, so it's 0, and then B complement is 1, and then A ka value is 0. So what it will give you? It's gonna give you 0 only. Output will be true only when odd numbers of ones in their input. Okay, fine. So it will be 0 only. Similarly, what you can do, you can try to do it for 1 0. Normally आप ये common sense लगाओ ना. If you will do it for 1 0, it will become 1, because A का complement is 0, B is already 0. If I add this to B का complement, see, I'll get here 1. B complement is 1, right? And then A, so A is already 1. So what am I getting? 1. This logic you should explain to the interviewer if they are trying to ask you about XOR. Otherwise, keep this thing in mind. Same raha to 0, different raha to 1. Okay, let's try to execute this here. So I'll remove this and we'll try to do this here. So see, both the numbers are same here. So for same we'll put 0, for different we'll put 1. So इसको remove करके 1 1 1 लिख देते हैं. So 8 plus 4 plus 2 is how much? 14. I'm getting the output as 14. Fine. This is what is the logic of your bitwise bit manipulation. This is what is called as bit manipulation. ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. कोई भी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, एनी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज यू टेक, यू शुड बी नोइंग अबाउट दिस. मेनी पीपल डू लर्न अबाउट ऊप्स कॉन्सेप्ट, बट उनको यही नहीं पता होता है. आप ऊप्स कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ रहे हो, यू आर लर्निंग अबाउट ऊप्स कॉन्सेप्ट, बट यू डू नॉट नो अबाउट दिस, राइट? Because what happens, people do not care about simple things, do not care about simple logics which doesn't matter to you. So these are some of the things which are very basic things, and interviewers also do not ask these things very oftenly to experienced people, but for freshers they will ask this, because ये चीज अगर आ गया तो सब बनेगा. Fine. I hope this is done. Can we move to the next part? So I hope Bitwise is covered. We'll move to our shift operators and we'll try to see what is this shift. Now one more thing here. In shift operator, if you see, we have left shift, right? We have signed right shift. We have unsigned right shift. And we do not have right shift. Okay. Also, if you look here, we have left shift. So the symbol is on the left hand side. That's how you have to remember this operator. Left shift, left इस side होता है. So the tail of that should be on the left. So you can see the tail of that is on the left. Similarly, the right shift, your tail is on the right hand side. But have a look at this one. This is saying right shift, but there are three of them, right? So this you need to take care about. First of all, you need to clear in your mind that there is no right shift. There is no right shift in Java. A simple right shift is not there in Java. Okay. There is an unsigned right shift which is there in Java. Fine. So let's talk about this. This is the most complicated one, but I'll try to explain it in a much more easy way. So let's see how it goes. इसके लिए थोड़ा example का जरूरत पड़ता है. Let's try to do this. Shift left. Okay. Left shift. So we'll try to solve this in the same example. Do let me know if you have any doubts till now. सब बहुत easy से explain किया गया है, so I don't want anybody to get thinking that समझ में नहीं आया है and you are just leaving it. You're just closing the video and then you're just going and doing your own work. Don't do that. Do let me know if you have any problem till now. I'll repeat it again. So यहाँ पे we have written a left shift operator. We have used that. You can see here the left shift operator looks like this. That's what I've used here. And if you look here, we have the A written like this, right? The A bit manipulation is something like this. Again, why are we moving into bit? Because I told you bitwise and shift operator. So bitwise and shift operator इसको together क्यों लिखते हैं? क्योंकि shift operators में भी हम लोग अपने नंबर जो भी हमारा डेसिमल नंबर है उसको बाइनरी में चेंज करना है, तभी तो आप शिफ्ट करोगे ना. हाउ कैन यू शिफ्ट 2? यू कैन शिफ्ट द बाइनरी नंबर. सो आई नीड टू शिफ्ट दिस नंबर. व्हाट इज शिफ्टिंग? शिफ्टिंग मीन्स आपको नंबर को शिफ्ट करना है. ओके, सो इफ आई हैव दिस नंबर विच इज 00000010 and I say that you have to shift this, that also I've written 2 times, right? So I have to shift this particular number 2 times. Which side? लेफ्ट हैंड साइड, राइट? सो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड अगर मैं इस नंबर को शिफ्ट करूंगा तो आपका आंसर क्या आएगा? फर्स्ट लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट द आंसर. इफ यू लुक हियर, बहुत ही रैंडम आंसर आएगा. यू कैन सी हियर 8 आ रहा है. आई हैव द नंबर 2 हियर ऑफ ए, बट व्हेन आई एम शिफ्टिंग आई एम गेटिंग नंबर 8. हाउ? हैव अ लुक. सी, अगर आप इसको शिफ्ट करोगे, व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट? लेट्स शिफ्ट फर्स्ट टाइम. सो यू कैन सी I have shifted it 1 time. Again, this is the second time when I'm shifting. Okay. What is this number? If you look at this closely, what is this number? This number is 8 only, right? This is what is left shift. Very easy. You have just shifted the numbers. If somebody is thinking that, sir, I shifted the number, but how this 0 is added, right? Please understand, whenever you're shifting, in the end, this number is not coming up. Okay, this number is not rotating and coming up here. No, it is just adding zeros at the last. You have to do that. So if I take any number, right? If I take, let's say if I'm taking here 8 itself, ना? So 8 का ये output हो गया, right? अब इसको मैं shift कर रहा हूँ 2 times. So क्या होगा? 1 यहाँ पे आ जाएगा and everything else will be 0, right? तो अगर 1 वहां पे आएगा तो क्या वैल्यू हो जाएगा 32 आई बिलीव या 32. सिंपल. दिस इज व्हाट इज लेफ्ट शिफ्ट. एनी डाउट? दिस इज व्हाट इज लेफ्ट शिफ्ट. अब इसको करते हैं हम लोग राइट में. so what I'll do is the same thing we'll do, but this time I'll just write here right shift. Okay, we'll change this value to 2 now. Fine. So let's try to see this. Have a look what is the answer first. I'm doing right shift, not left shift. Okay, the answer is 0. The answer is 0. Why? बहुत क्लियर है. सी द फर्स्ट राउंड पे क्या होगा, ये अगर नंबर शिफ्ट होगा तो 1 यहाँ पे आएगा. सेकेंड टाइम अगर नंबर शिफ्ट होगा तो 0, 1 हट गया ना, एवरीथिंग इज 0. सो इट्स 0. दैट इज व्हाट इज योर राइट शिफ्ट, विच इज आई एम सेइंग साइंड राइट शिफ्ट. ओके, नाउ लेट्स हैव अ लुक कि इसको हम लोग साइंड राइट शिफ्ट क्यों बोलते हैं. Why these are called as signed right shift? Why it is not called as only right shift, right? Again, understand, if you know about C and C++, right, you must be knowing that signed and unsigned वाला बहुत चला था उस टाइम पे. When C and C++ came, signed and unsigned was ruling the programming language thing. So here signed means if a number is having a sign, a negative sign or a positive sign, so the sign should remain there. The sign should be remaining there. Okay, how is it making sense? How can I make it remain? So let's have a look. Have a look at this. Suppose मैं यहाँ पे क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैंने यहाँ पे -8 लिख दिया है. Okay, so what is -8 now? If I do -8 of this, how you are going to cover this up? Can anybody answer me? What is the meaning of -8? How can you give me the binary number of -8? Can anybody tell me? आपको करना पड़ेगा 2's complement for getting the -8 part, right? So how will you do the 2's complement of that? See, this is what is 8, right? ये हमारा 8 है. This is what is 8. So 2's complement, how will you do? First of all, what you have to do is you have to complement it, right? So how will you going to complement? 1 1 1 and then 0 1 1 1. This is what is the complement, and then you will add 1 to it, right? So if you add 1 to it, adding 1 to it means, what is the meaning of adding 1? You are just adding 1 here. Okay, so when you are adding 1, what will become? It will become, let's add 1 and let me show you how does it happen, because you guys will get confused. So this is my complemented 8 and I have to add here 1. यहाँ पे मुझे 1 ऐड करना है. So if I'm doing that, what's gonna happen? 1 1, you're going to get 1 carry and then you're going to get 0 here, right? So you have to do this. You have to do this kind of calculation. You're going to get 0 here, right? Again 1 and then again you will get 0 here. Similarly 1 1 0, again you are going to get this, again you're going to get this, right? And then carry will not be there, so you will get only 0 0 0 0. This is what you're going to get once it is done. Okay, and now you have to shift. Now you have to shift this. This is what is -8. This is what is -8. How did you get -8? पहले आपने 8 लिखा, 8 को आपने कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया, फिर जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया उसमें आपने ऐड किया 1 को, एंड देन यू गेट -8. ठीक है. Now once you have got -8, what you have to do? You have to right shift 2 times. Right shift करेंगे इसको 2 times. So let's see what is the answer. कहीं पे कमेंट दिया हुआ है. So you can see the answer is -2. Again, can you see it is retaining the sign of the number? It is retaining the sign. हमारा input minus में था, so this is also in minus. Can you see that? Right? यहाँ पे 1 1 आएगा. Sorry. Right? So यहाँ पे retain हो रहा है वो symbol. Correct? So this is what is your signed. Okay? This is what is signed. Whenever you're using a negative sign, that sign should be remaining in the output as well. Okay, So I hope you have understood this part. Now next one is unsigned right shift. So unsigned right shift basically right shift है, normal right shift, ठीक है. Left shift जैसे काम करता है ना, वैसे ही unsigned right shift है. Unsigned means यहाँ पे आप negative नहीं use कर सकते. So whenever you are using this kind of symbol, never use minus values, never use negative values, ठीक है. Negative values can only be used in signed वाले में. Fine, so that it retains the sign. Signed का मतलब है that you have to retain the signature, you have to retain the positive or negative sign in the output as well. So that's what is your left shift, right shift, signed right shift and unsigned right shift. Unsigned right shift is basically the right shift. जैसे ये लेफ्ट शिफ्ट है वैसे राइट शिफ्ट है, बट इसका सिंबल थोड़ा डिफरेंट है. एक करके देखते हैं. हैव अ लुक हियर. इफ आई एम राइटिंग 8 हियर, डोंट गो टू दीज ऑल थिंग्स. 8 here, and then I'm going to just use one more look here and then run it. So you can see you're getting 2 only. अभी यहाँ पे negative sign नहीं आ रहा है because I'm just doing normal right shift. I'm just doing a normal right shift, right? So this is how your shifting works. If you want to see some more examples in it, एक काम करो आप, try to see it in JavaScript वाला video. I have explained that in a much more better way. पूरा 1 घंटा मैंने सिर्फ shift operator बताया वहाँ पे. So if you have not understood this here, I think you must have. But if you have not, if somebody has not understood this, what you can do, go to JavaScript वाला session, the second or third session in which I have taken operators. Title में लिखा हुआ है operators, so don't worry. In that I have explained shift operators because these are some of the operators which is used in all programming languages. So anywhere you can learn this. So JavaScript में again ये है explained. You can see that, okay? But yeah, so this is what is shift operator. Let's move to logical operators. Logical and bitwise, I told you that is much more similar, but there should be some difference. There must be some difference because यहाँ पे हमने कहीं भी bit use नहीं किया. It is called as logical. So यहाँ पे हम लोग logic देखते हैं. We try to see the logic behind some things, right? So let's try to see कि वहाँ पे logic क्या है. So also this will only give you the output as boolean values. This will only give you the output as boolean values. So logical and logical or and logical not will always give you the possible values where you have boolean values. So let me just try to write some codes here. So I've written A is greater than B, okay? And then I'm writing the logical and then I'm writing B is smaller than A. Fine? So, or what I can do is, let me just write here int C equal to 10 and I'll just use here C only. So now have a look what is happening in this code. So basically AND operator and OR operator, all these logical operators, where do you use? You use it somewhere where you want to compare or you want to check the output of that, whether it is true or this statement is true or that statement is false. That is what you do here. So यहाँ पे we have written A equal to 8 and B equal to 12. 8 is greater than 12. 8 is greater than 12 is false, right? So remember this, that this is false. False means 0. So 0. AND operator and then B is greater than C. B is greater than C. Yes, it is true. So this is true. So 0 and 1. Can I say this is 0? And can I say this is 1? So 0 and 1, right? Let's have a look at the table. So we are using and then 0 and 1. What is the output? 0. That means this will give me the output as false. Don't you think so? So you can see it's giving false, right? So the basic funda is you can either look at this particular table or you can just remember that whenever two conditions are true, only at that time the resultant will be true. Otherwise, in all the cases, your output will be false, isn't it? Isn't it the same thing which we have seen in the table also? In AND, if both the conditions are true, then only the आउटपुट विल बी ट्रू. बट यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा था, एक कंडीशन फॉल्स हो जा रहा था, सो दैट्स वाई इट वॉज फॉल्स. इफ आई मेक दिस सेंटेंस ट्रू नाउ, इट विल बिकम ट्रू, क्योंकि वो दोनों कंडीशन ट्रू है अब. What if I use here or? So or me, you can see what is happening. There is only one condition when the condition will be false. That is when both the conditions are false. Otherwise, in all the scenarios, your output will be true, right? So this thing you need to remember. It's very easy. It's just, you just have to keep it in your mind that in AND operator, whenever both the conditions are true, then only the answer will be true. Otherwise, it will be false. In OR operator, if both the conditions are false, then only the output will be false. Otherwise, always it will be true, right? So even if in this example, the earlier example which I took, right, if I do this, it's gonna give me true. Why? Because I'm using OR operator. Okay. Now, let's see the last one, which is the logical NOT, right? So let's have a look. So suppose what I'm doing here is I have this particular statement, correct? And this is giving me what output? This is giving me true output, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up a whole bunch of bracket here. And before this, I'm just going to use the exclamation mark. So what am I doing here? Exclamation mark makes your output complement, right? So अभी तक मेरा इस particular code का output आ रहा था true, but now I have used complement there, so it's gonna give me false. Fine, it's giving me false here, right? Similarly, see, ये false मैंने कहाँ पे लगाया? I have used this in the whole statement. The whole statement I have bracketed it out, and then I have given the exclamation mark. You can do something else. What you can do is you can use the exclamation mark here itself, right? और इसमें आप मत use करो. Don't use it here. Let me remove this. So what's gonna happen? Is this true or false? A is greater than B. It's false, but it will give me true. So true, and this one is also true, I believe. So it's gonna give me true because I'm using OR gate. So it's gonna be true. But if I'm using AND, then इसको होना चाहिए था false, but still it will give me true because I have used exclamation mark only for this one, right? What happened, guys? You guys are not commenting now. Put something in the live chat that if everything is going nice and you guys are understanding everything. Okay, so this is what is a logical operator. I hope you have understood this. Coming to next one, which is assignment operator. So assignment operator is basically all the operators, any operators whichever we have seen till now. You just have to add one equal to sign in front of that. That's it. But what is the meaning of it? So let's say if I'm writing a plus equal to b. Okay, so a plus equal to b will look something like this. A equal to a plus b. Okay, similarly any operator whichever you're using, whatever comparison भी अगर आप यूज कर रहे हो तो you can use consignment operator in that. ठीक है, logical operator bitwise में भी आप यूज कर सकते हो. In any operator you can use this. Let me just show you one example because this is also asked in some of the MCQ questions. So basically if I have a plus b here, right, if I want to do that, if I want to print it, no, I can't print it like this. First I have to mention. So generally अगर मुझे दो चीज़ों को प्लस करना होगा, I'll write something like this, right? If I have to add a plus b and I want to store that resultant value into a, I will write something like this, right? And it's gonna work. It's gonna give me how much? 8 plus 12. So it's gonna give me 20. You can see that. But suppose यहाँ पे इसको और सिमिलर, इसको और मिनिमम लाइन्स या फिर आप शॉर्टकट में बोल सकते हो. You can write it. You can just have to do this much. A plus equal to b. So this means a equal to a plus b. Fine. This was also there in all. This is also there in all the programming languages. So I hope you must be knowing about this. This is also giving me 20. Fine. You can use any particular operator in that. So this is the very easy one, the assignment operator. Let's go to our other operators, which is your instance of and ternary operator. So let's first talk about the instance of, and then we are going to move to our Java ternary operator. So let's try to see what is an instance of we cannot see right now. I'll tell you why, because I've not told you about object, right? So अभी ऑब्जेक्ट बनाने बैठेंगे तो you'll get confused. Let's not cover instance of right now. I'll write it somewhere so that I can cover it when I'll explain you about object. Okay. If you guys can make me remember of this anytime later, please do let me know. Instance of, we will see it later on. Abhi aap confused ho jaoge, so I don't want to do that. You must be knowing instance means object, right? So आपको समझ में आ गया होगा कि इसके लिए मुझे नीड है ऑब्जेक्ट का. सो विल ट्राई टू सी दैट लेटर ऑन. जावा टर्नरी देखते हैं एक बार एंड लेट्स सी व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन जावा टर्नरी वंस. सो लेट्स से आई एम गोइंग टू कमेंट दिस and so Java ternary is what? Ternary means, always remember that ternary means 3 variables. So we will have an expression in which we'll have 3 variables. So let's say I'm getting here C, right? And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to write some expression here. So let's say what I'm going to write here is A is greater than, no, A is smaller than B. So this is the first thing which is I'm writing here, the expression. So this is the expression. This is the expression. This is the question. Okay. So do tell me whether A is less than B. Yes, it is, right? So after question mark, you will write true or false. Or let's give some value here. तो अगर ये true होता है then I'll give 20. अगर ये false होता है तो let's give 22. Let's have a look at a simple example. आगे जाके थोड़ा complex example लेंगे. Have a look here. So this is basically use of ternary operator. Ternary operator में we are using 3 things. One is this expression, second is the truth value, and third is the false value. ठीक है? What is this expression? This expression is the condition. So system will be identifying whether it is true or false. And then the next is the truth value, and the another one is the false value. Fine. So here basically what is happening, अगर ये condition true हुआ, if this condition is true, then it will take 20 as a value for C. If this condition is false, then it will take 22 as the value of C. Okay, so let's just print C here, and right now A is lesser than B, so it is true, so it will take 20 value, right? So it should print me 20 in the output. If you can see, it is printing 20. But suppose if I change this, if I write here greater than, which is false, so now the C value is 22. So if you look here, the value of C is 22, right? This is what is the use of ternary operator. You can use it in many different ways. Let me just show you one of the ways how you can use it. So let's say मेरे पास एक particular value है यहाँ पे, which is 29. Okay, and I'm taking one particular string here which says result. Fine. So this is one of the variable which I have taken, and now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a result, and then I'm just going to give here a condition. The first condition what I'm going to give here is, let's say C is equal to 28. Okay, and then a question mark, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write something here. So let's say in this one I'm just going to write not a leap year, and if it is false, then it's gonna print leap year. So basically what is this logic? This logic is telling you whether the February month is a leap year or not. So I've given the February month, the C value is 29. Okay, and then I am comparing it with here, but it is not true, so it's gonna give me leap year. Okay, if it will be 28, then it will gonna give me not a leap year. So I'm just going to run this. You can see here It is giving me leap year. Fine. So this is one of the logic, very simple logic. We'll try to see some more statements. What happens in ternary operator? Basically, some of the time what happens, they will write a println statement here itself. Okay, they'll write a println statement here itself in these values. So then it becomes complex, but I'll try to give that in coding session 1, which is gonna happen. So in coding session 1, we'll try to do those kind of programs. Okay, let's come back to our conditional statements. So let's try to understand what is conditional statements and how do we cover this. So first of all, operators are over, I believe. If you have any questions, please do let me know. But operators are done. So if you have anything, please do let me know. So now let's understand conditional statements. We have if then else, if else if, nested if else, switch case, break continue. Switch case and break continue is not considered in conditional, but you can consider it. There's no problem. Switch, break and continue, most of the people say it will consider it in conditional. So let's carry on with that. Now, when we talk about if else, right? So if else can be written in many different ways. Okay, so there are if then else, if nested if else. What is these 4 things? So basically these are conditional statements which gives you some logics to be able to written. Okay, so let me just give one example. We'll refresh, we'll remove all these things right now because we are moving into conditional statement. So we'll try to see some of the examples and we'll try to see how I can show you what is if else and all. So let's try to see that. Let's say I have one particular number which is 52, right? And now I'm going to write a condition because it's a conditional statement. So how do we write a conditional statement? We write if statement. This is what is if statement. Okay, only if statement. We are not using else right now. So the very first thing, if you can see in the PPT, is if then, right? So that's what we are seeing now, if then. So if you look here, if, right? And now here I'm going to write num1 is less than 100. Okay, and then I am going to give a curly bracket and then I'm going to write here some statement. So let's say I'm writing here this number is below 100. Okay, so what am I saying here is that if the num1 is less than 100, if this condition is true, then you have to print this. Why am I saying then? Because these curly brackets are of if block. These curly brackets are of if block and this statement is written inside if block. So if the condition is true, then it has to print this line. Okay, so if I run this, it says this number is below 100. Fine. Again, one more thing. Suppose there's only one line written here inside if statement. Only one line whenever is there, you don't have to mention the curly brackets. Okay, you don't have to mention the curly brackets. Even if I run it now, it's gonna work. But it will only work when you have only one line. Suppose if you have 2 lines, suppose if you have one more line below this, it's gonna give you an error. Let's try to see this. Okay, this is also working. Oh, so this you can also do like this, but I guess this is not the same way. What is happening here is that this is getting printed because it is considering the fact that this line is written below if, and this is getting printed because it's a normal print. So that's why it is printing both the statements, but don't do that. Try to use the curly brackets whenever you are using a 2 lines statement in your if statement. Okay, try to do something like this. Okay, so I try to always write the curly brackets. I do not miss out on curly brackets because it actually gives me a very much clear information that where it is getting closed and where is it getting open, right? So that's why. Now, so this is what is if then. Okay, so if then is over now. So now what we'll try to do is we'll try to understand the next part. Have a look here. If I make this condition false, right? And if I just write one more statement here, which is, let's say I'm going to write here, this statement is outside the if block. That's what I've written here, right? Now I know that this statement is false, so I know that this is not gonna get printed, but this is going to get printed or not. So let's check out. That is going to get printed. Can you see this statement is outside the if block? And that's what I was trying to say when I removed this. So when I am removing these curly brackets, right, you can see here, if I remove this, still it's gonna work and it's gonna give me this output. Why? Because it is trying to understand that this line is inside if block because it's a single line, and that's why it's not working. Fine. So let me just close this. Now let's try to see what is if then else. So here only one thing is that we can have an else also. So what we can do is we can have an else statement. In the else statement, you can write the opposite of the statement which becomes true. So here I can write this number is below, this number is not greater than 100. In this case, what's gonna happen? See, if this condition is true, it's gonna print this number is below 100. If this condition is false, it's gonna print this number is not greater than 100. Okay, so let me just take this, and you can see it's gonna print this number is not greater than 100. Okay, the last part is getting printed. It will get printed because that is not even considered as inside if and then. I'll remove it for now so that you don't get confused. So this is what is your if and else. Fine. Any doubts in this? Otherwise we'll move to our next code, which is if else if. Okay, so now let's try to see if else if. You can see here we have if else if statement, and then we have nested if else. So we'll try to see these two. Now if else if is basically if else we have seen, and now it's if else if. So here we can write one more condition if you want to add one more condition. So what I can do here is okay, else if, and then we can have again else, and here we can write this number is not greater than 100, or we can write both num1 and num2 is not greater than 100. Anything. Right now what we are doing, we have two conditions now. That is what is if else if. We have one condition which is num1 greater than 100. We have second condition which is num2 greater than 100. How it's gonna work, let's understand. First it will go here. If num1 is greater than 100, say if 52 is greater than 100, no it is not. So it's gonna go down in this part. It's gonna just skip this system.println. Come here. Again, there's a condition, so it will check that condition. Num2 is greater than 100. Num2 is 101, so it is true. So it will print this statement, and it will not even go here. It will not even go there. So it's just going to print this number is greater than 100. That's what it's gonna print here. Okay. Again, you can increase this. So what you can do is you can write again else if. You can have another number, and you can just say here that suppose this is the number which you have written, and this is what is happening, and let's say I've written here this much, right? Okay, so what is happening now? This is also false, this is also false, only this one is true, which is 98 is less than 100. So it's gonna print this number is not greater than 100. Correct. So you can see that. You can again add one more else here. I don't want to add it, so that's also fine. But this is what is if else if. This is the third way. The next one is nested if else. So let's try to check out how do you write nested if else. Okay, see, nested if else, basically nested means inside the one if you have to write the another if. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to remove this all parts right now, and I'm just going to go inside this. Say if num1 is greater than 100, right? Let's say num2 is greater than 100. If num2 is greater than 100, again go inside, right? Again check it. So I'm going to give here one more condition. So let's say I'm saying here num1 is less than 100. This is again gonna be inside. If not, then it's gonna print A, B, again here we can have one more else. So see what I'm doing, right? I am actually creating a ladder. Can you see a ladder here? You have if, and then you have again if, and then you have else, and then you again have else, right? So I'm just creating a ladder. Once I write this, you'll be able to understand what I actually am doing here. I'm just going to write C, and here also let's give one particular statement, right? I can give one more statement here where I'm just going to print here D. So let's have a look what I'm done. I have done a nested kind of thing, like inside if you have another if, and then this if else is here, and this if else is here. What is the meaning of this if else is here? I'll tell you that. So if num2 is greater than 100, num2 is greater than 100, it is true, so it will print D. So output will have D in it. It's gonna go inside that. Why? Because there is still some code is written, right? After system.println, already some code is still written. So we are going to go there. What is written? If num1 is less than 100, num1 is how much? 52. 52 is less than 100. That is also true. So it's gonna print this as well. It's gonna print D and A in the output. Now it's not gonna go to else, because else का मतलब होता है otherwise. But there's no case of otherwise, na? Everything is true, so there is no case of otherwise. So the printing will be here of D and A. So it will be DA, right? But suppose if this one is wrong, if this statement is wrong, num1 is greater than 100, so D will be printed. But then when it comes here, right, then it doesn't go inside this one. It does not go inside this system out of println A. It goes to else, and in this else, what is written? B. So it's gonna print DB. If you're thinking that why it is not going to C, because else का पूरा हो गया, ये वाला wrong हुआ था ना, this if was wrong. See, every time if and else is in a pair. So this is one pair, this is one pair, and then this if and this else is one pair. So अगर ये वाला if wrong होगा, then only this else will be printed. अगर ये वाला if wrong होगा, then this one else will be printed. So if I run this, it will be D and B, right? Now अगर मैं इसको भी गलत कर दूं, num2 is less than 100, right? Now what will happen? Obviously D is not going to print, क्योंकि if उसको allow नहीं करेगा अंदर जाने को, if will not give the allowance to go inside this particular curly bracket, right? And if you can see, this curly bracket is started here, it is covering all these codes. Can you see that? Till here it is covering all these codes. So ये सारे codes waste हो जाएंगे, because this code itself wrong. It will directly come to else and it will print C. So you can see here, it's gonna directly print C. Why? Because ये आया ही नहीं इसके अंदर, ये directly else में चला गया. ठीक है? What if I am changing this particular thing here? I am making it true. Still nothing is gonna change, because ये इसके अंदर जा ही नहीं रहा है ना. ये पहला वाला तो wrong हो ही गया. If first condition is only wrong, then it's not gonna go inside. this whole thing is rubbish, right? If this is correct, then only we can think about the other parts of the code. Okay, now this ladder can become long as well. आप इसको बड़ा बना सकते हो. You can add here else if also if you want. Okay, you can do anything. So this is what is your nested if else. Fine, I hope you understood this part as well. Any doubts, please do let me know. We have half an hour, so we are going to cover switch case, and let's see if we can cover for loop and those as well. Any doubts? So what is switch case? Let's have a look what is switch case. So here what I'm going to do is, see, switch case is not even related to if and else, okay? If and else is basically to write a logic of, if this is not true, then do this. If this is true, then do this, right? So suppose if you have something like you want to understand whether a number is even or odd. So what condition you will write? If that number is divisible by a 2, right? If the number is divisible by a 2, that means it is even. If it is not, then it is odd. So you can write the logic of that using if and else, correct? So that in those cases we use if and else, and those cases can become much more difficult when you are using nested if else or if else if or only if, right? So in those cases, now let's try to see how this switch case works. So we are going to remove this. I hope there's no question. So can we move to our next part? So we are moving into our switch case. Let's try to understand this one, and let's try to see how do we do switch case. Okay, so first of all, switch case. What is switch case? See, switch case is basically how you switch on the bulb or switch on the fan in your room. The same way this switch also works. Okay, now understand, in our home we have these switches, right? So whenever we switch on the bulb, only the bulb will get switched on. Is it like when you are switching on the bulb switch, when you are switching it on, the fan turns on? No, right? It's not that case, right? It's not that. So whenever you are switching on the bulb switch, only the bulb will get on. If you are switching on the fan, only the fan will get switched on. The same thing is happening here in this one. So we have a switch expression and we have some cases. Okay, if the case is matching with that expression, then it's gonna switch on that. So let's try to look at one of the example and then you'll be able to understand it. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to take some value here. So let's say I'm going to take int num equal to 28. Okay, and then here I'm going to take string size. Fine, and in this one switch I'm going to just write num. Okay, and then in this case I'm going to give some random values here. So let's say I'm going to give here 10, and I'm just going to write size small, and here I'm going to use break. Similarly, I'm going to create some more cases. So I'm going to just copy this, paste. One more we'll paste. Hi Vikas. Okay, please repeat if else if. Okay, I'll repeat that. We'll repeat that. Let me just explain this one first. So we have taken here, let's say I'm going to take here 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and the last one we are going to also take it as default. So this default is also there. I'll tell you what is it. and then I'm going to give here one more size. So let's say here the size I'm going to give here it as unknown. To this one I'm going to give medium. This one I'm going to give large. This one I'm going to give smallest, smaller, then small. Something like this I've written, okay? And I'm going to print the output here. So I'm just going to print here size, the size value, whatever the size value will come, that we are going to print it up here. I hope size is written here. Int num, switch num, class main, public static void name. Is it not? Okay, fine. Once again, it's a string, right? Hi Surya. Let's try to print this here itself. Oh god, I've given here. That's why it is. Obviously, you're giving a value, right? So I don't know why I use that. Okay. Yeah, fine, fine. Now I'll have a look. So how this is gonna work? Have a look. I've written here num equal to 28. I've given string size. I have given string size and then switch num, right? So switch num value is what? 28. So 28 is gonna come here and now it's gonna find which case is 28. So if you look here, this is not 28, this is not 28, this is not 28, this is 28 in which size is large, and then it's written break, right? So break means that it is telling to stop here. So so that it's not going to repeat again. Okay, so it's not going to continue with 29. So in 28 it's going to stop and then it's going to jump out of the switch statement, which you can see the curly bracket is open here and closed here. So it's going to come out and then size colon size. So what is the size? Large. So it's going to print here large. Okay, that's what it's going to happen. Now if I print this, it's large, right? So answer will be large. Okay, great. Now suppose if I remove break from here, if I remove this break from here, right, what's gonna happen? So basically size 28, it's gonna again search 28, no, 28, no, 28, no, 28, yes, and then size large, and then again it will go to 29 and size will become medium. So it's gonna update the value of 29. Why? Because we have not used here break. So it's gonna break it and now it will print medium. Why? Because it's now coming to 29 because I've not written break here. Okay, so that is what is the importance of break in such case. Now suppose if I'm giving here a value which is 32. Now if you look at these cases, right, there's no 32 here. So what's gonna happen? It's gonna go to default and it's gonna just print unknown. Because why it's going to default? Because there are no such cases which is written here. So it's gonna go to that. If you look here, it says unknown. Are you finished web development course, sir? You're back in Java, so I ask you. Front-end development course is finished, but there are only jQuery and Tailwind CSS sessions are left. So I'll be doing that, but later on, not now. So jQuery and Tailwind CSS will be covered. Within January itself, it will be covered. But right now, more focus is on Java. Sir, where do I practice Java program? Any website who provide question basic to advanced level? Okay, Surya, I will tell you about that in my next session. I have to do some research, so I'll be able to tell you where you can. Ishant Yadav, is there any playlist of DSA with JavaScript? No, there is no playlist in this channel for DSA with JavaScript. If you want, we can plan that, but there are already some of the things which are pending. So we have to first finish that. So I hope this switch case example is finished. I hope you have understood how to do the coding of switch case. What is the meaning of break? I hope you guys have understood that as well. Okay, so that's what is nothing but switch case. There are more complex versions of switch case which I'll again show you in coding session, not here. This is just the easiest way of using switch case. Now break we have already seen. We have seen how break works, right? Break is basically to break this statement. Similarly, we have continue. So continue will basically continue this statement. Okay, so break will break it, continue will continue the statement. That's it. Continue, I'll show it in looping. So when we'll do looping right now, then I'll show you how the continue statement works. Right now, this is what is switch case. We'll come to the coding part, don't worry. There are some of the programs which you must be asking. So those all programs will be covered where switch case also will be explained to you in a better manner. So don't worry about that. Okay, now coming to looping, right? So this one is very important because, okay, somebody asked me about if else if. So this was the example of if else if you see here, right? So we did if else if you have asked. Yeah, so if else if in basically if else if that is not nested if else, that means that is basically your um, second condition. So this we will remove from here, right? So this is if, and then we have else if. So we can write here another if statement. Okay, and then we can write here one of the condition again. So in this one we can write num1 is greater than 100, let's say lesser than, num2 is greater than 100, let's make it greater than. So you can see here what is happening. Num2 is, I'll remove this part, or I will take this up here. Yeah, so now you can see what is happening. I'll move this a little bit here. If num2 is less than 100, num2 is 101, 101 is less than 100, so that means it is false. So it's not gonna go here, it's gonna go to the else if. Again, there's one more condition, num1 is less than 100, num1 is less than 100, yes, it's gonna print B. So the answer will be basically B. This is what is if else if. Again, understand this is not nested because inside if I have not written any condition, I have written outside if. So this is if else if. I hope you have understood this. Let's move to our for loop and let's try to see what is that. So basically in for loop is a looping technique, right? Which iterates. So here iteration happens. Why do we use for loop? Basically, if you want to print something again and again, that's when we use for loop. If you want to iterate something, let's say you want to print the digits from 1 to 10, right? If you want to do that, then you use for loop, because you will not write system.println 1, system.println 2, system.println 3. You won't do that, right? If somebody has asked you that I want to print numbers from 1 to 100, correct? So you won't sit and write system.println 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You won't do that, right? So that is called as iteration. So how do we do iteration? We write the looping construct. So now let's see how do we do that. Please understand this, because here I'm going to use a very normal technique of writing the for loop. So try to understand this. So have a look what I've done here, right? Basically, this is the for ka syntax. Okay, so in for loop syntax, what is there? First, I have the initialization. So I have to take one variable and then I have to initialize it. You can initialize it with any number. I'm initializing it with 0. And then I have the condition here. Okay, remember that you have to give the semicolon in between. After the semicolon, you are giving a particular condition here. So in this condition, what is there? I is less than 10, right? So I is less than 10 is what? Is the condition. So how this will work? Let's check it out. So basically, first, how it's gonna work. I'm just going to give some spaces here so that you can have a look how it works. There are 6 steps which you need to follow. 6 steps. First step, this one, I equal to 0. So basically, I value is 0. Second step, you have to check this condition. So 0 is less than 10. Yes, it is. Once this condition becomes true, do not go to this one. Do not go to this one. Okay. Don't go to this one. Go down. So once the condition is correct, go down. What is it saying? It says to print I. What is the value of I? 0. So it's going to print 0. Right? And then, so this is the third step. And then go to this one. And then go to this one. So it becomes fourth step. So I plus plus, I becomes 1. Right? So this was the fourth step. I become 1. And then again go back. So go back to this condition. So 1 is less than 10. Yes, it is. Again, come here. Come to the down line. So it's gonna print 1. Again, it's gonna go to I plus plus. Again, it's gonna go to this condition. Again, it will print. Again, it's going to go to this one. Again, it's going to go to the condition and going to print. So this loop is going to carry on. And that's why we call it as looping. If you have not understood, again, I'm going to explain this. So int I equal to 0. This is the initialization which we write. I is less than 10. This is the condition which we write. And I plus plus is the increment or decrement operator which we write. Okay. You can use decrement also. I'll show you those decrement things in the coding session. So 0 is less than. So first of all, I equal to 0 is the first step. 0 is less than 10 is the second step. If it is true, come down, print 0. Third step. Fourth step is increment the value. So it becomes 1. Fifth step, come back to the condition. Sixth step, come back to the printing statement, print it. So what it's gonna print? See, look at the condition. Till how many times this loop will run? Basically, this loop will run till your condition is wrong. Correct? So suppose these all things are going on. I becomes 8. 8 is less than 10. Correct. It's going to print 8. And then it becomes 9. So 9 is less than 10. That is also correct. It's going to print 9. But once I becomes 10, 10 is less than 10 is false. Once it is false, this whole thing will get vanish and is going to come out. So then it's going to stop printing the output. It's going to stop printing the numbers. So if I run this, it's gonna print from 0 to 9. Can you see? It's printing from 0 to 9. This is what is for loop. Okay. So this is how the for loop works. See, you can change the numbers. If I write I equal to 1 and if I just run this, so it will go till when? 1 to 9. That's what's gonna happen. Understand? It's a very common question. So because my number is starting from 1, it's gonna print from 1 to 9. Suppose if I give here equal to, less than equal to. So now equal to is also written. That means if I is becoming 10 also, then also it's gonna take this and it's gonna print. So it's gonna print from 1 to 10. So you can see it's printing from 1 to 10. Right? Suppose if I write here I equal to 10. And suppose if I write here I is greater than 1. And I subtract this. What's happening? I is 10 in the beginning. 10 is greater than 1. Yes, it's gonna print that. I minus minus becomes 9. 9 is greater than 1. Yes, it's gonna print that. So have a look what is getting printed. From 10 to 2. Why 2? Because 1 pe jaise aayega, then it's gonna get false. So what I have to do here to get the 1? I have to bring back the equal to. And then 1 will also get printed. So you can see 10 till 1. This is what is looping and this is what you need to remember. So keep on practicing this, because if you're not practicing this, you're not going to get along with it. Okay. And whatever topics I have taught you today, those are the most important topics which you should be knowing. Okay. The operators, the bit manipulation, logical bitwise, all those things, and then conditional statements, switch case statements, and the looping. These all are the most logical concept of any programming language. If you do not know any of these, you are not going to able to write any code in any programming language. Okay, now what is next? So we do have for each loop. Okay, now what is this for each loop? This for each loop is basically just like for loop, but इतना झंझट नहीं है उसमें. We don't have all of these things in that. So what is for each loop? Let's try to have a look. Any doubt till here, please do let me know. Otherwise we'll move to the next thing. Okay, if you have any doubts, please do let me know. I'll just comment it for now so that you can have a look if you want to have a look. And let's move to our for each. So in for each, basically, for each works with arrays. Okay, it always works with arrays. So let's say if I have one array here, you remember arrays. I have taught you this in my second session. I have taught you when I was talking about variables. I did tell you a brief introduction about arrays. So arrays can have multiple values. That's what I am giving here. So I've given here 5 values in my array, right? And now I want to print these values in my console. So what is the most easiest way to do it? What you can do is you can just print it like this. The most easiest way to do it. So if you want the first value, you will write ARR 0. The first value, if you want to print, you will print ARR 0. So that will print 7 here. Why 0? Because this is the 0th index. This is the first index. This is the second index. Always remember, जब भी array का बात होता है तो उसका numbering 0 से start होता है. Okay? Array में हमेशा numbering 0 से start होता है. So index of 7 is 0. Similarly, you have to print for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But suppose if this array is having 100 digits, then you are not going to be able to do this, right? You have to again write system.println ARR1, ARR2, ARR3, ARR4. नहीं कर सकते. So we need to use for each loop. Now here what you have to do. So we write for, and then we take any particular variable. So let's say I'm taking here one variable I, जो मैंने पहले भी लिया था. I took here I, I'm taking here also as I. Okay, and then I'll use a colon and I'll just write the array name. I'll just write the array name. That's it. I'm just writing the array name. That's it. Okay. And now I have to just print that. So I'm going to write here S out, right? And I'm just going to write here that I. So have a look यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है. कहीं पे भी मैंने यहाँ पे initialization लिखा है. Have I written here any condition or have I written any increment decrement operator? Nothing. I've just written int I colon ARR. That's it. So what is happening? This I is a variable and this colon is acting as an each, EACH. So this colon is acting as a each. What it is saying? It says that, hey I, can you please go to this array's element one by one, take it out and print it. So it's going, this I is going to ARR ka first value 7, fetching it, printing it. Going to 8, fetching it, printing it. Going to 9, fetching it, printing it. It's happening automatically. So if I run this, you will be getting 7, 8, 9, 3 and 5. Cool. This is what is for each loop. But there's a drawback that you can use for each loop only with the arrays. क्यों only arrays के साथ? क्योंकि see, it's very logical, right? When you have a list of numbers or a list of values, then only you can use this for each loop, right? Because आप यहाँ पे नहीं उसको बोल रहे हो कि if ये condition है तो print करो या increment है तो print करो. No. Here what I'm saying is just saying this variable to go there. तुमको जो दिख रहा है print कर दो. Whatever you can see there one by one, take it and print it. So it will only work with arrays. And this is what is for each loop. This I have also explained you in JavaScript, but it was named as for in loop, right? वहां पे basically क्या होता था? इस colon के जगह पे in लगता था. Similarly in Java is the same thing. We just remove this and we write colon here. Fine. So this is what is your for each loop. Meanwhile, I'll take a comment here. Okay. Now let's move to our next one, which is our while loop. So see, if you have understood for loop, while loop बहुत easy है. It's just like for loop, okay? Similar, it's just like for loop. Let me just try to give you one example of while loop. So while loop is basically the same as your for loop. It's just the way of writing which will get changed. See, for loop में हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे? What we were doing in for loop? We were doing the initialization part. So पहले initialization करते हैं. First, we'll do the initialization. So we did the initialization. Then what you have to do? We have to write the condition. Can you see the condition here in the for loop? So we'll write the condition. So we'll write here while. Condition यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या देने वाले हैं? Condition will give here I is less than 10. This is what is the condition we have given. And now we need to print it. तो हम लोग यहाँ पे उसको print कर देंगे. I को print कर देंगे, right? And then what you do? We have to increase. We have to increment or decrement. So we'll add here I plus plus. See, फंडा वही है, लॉजिक वही है, बस सिंटैक्स चेंज हुआ है, काम वही हो रहा है. क्या होता था फॉर लूप में? यहाँ पे फॉर लूप में क्या होता था? पहले इनिशियलाइज करते थे, फिर उसके बाद कंडीशन को मैच करते थे. अगर कंडीशन करेक्ट होता था तो सिस्टम डॉट डू प्रिंटलन करते थे. एंड देन वी आर गोइंग टू डिक्रीमेंट और इंक्रीमेंट द वैल्यू. एंड देन अगेन कंडीशन चेक करते थे, अगेन प्रिंट करते थे. सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग हियर, बट दिस टाइम वी आर जस्ट चेंजिंग द सिंटैक्स. दैट्स इट. यहाँ पे जो काम एक लाइन में हो जा रहा था, यहाँ पे मुझे 4-5 लाइन लग रही है. ओके, सो पहले while loop आया था and then for loop came, and that's why this is the reason. So you can see here, this is the initialization, this is the condition, and this is the increment operator. The only thing is placing those commands are different. Locations of those commands are different. So I equal to 1, 1 is less than 10, true, it will print 1. It will print 1, it will increment the value I to 2, 2 is less than 10. Again it will print 2. It will keep on printing till 9. 10 पे जैसे ही आएगा false हो जाएगा, so it's not gonna print that. If I run this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, if you add equal to, it's gonna also print 10. If you want to move it from the ending, you can have something like this. So it's gonna print 10 to 1. How quickly I changed all of these things, right? So this much quickly you should be also doing it. If you know the logic, if you know how does it work, if you know the steps of it, nobody is going to come up and say that you are doing wrong, right? So ये logic पता होना चाहिए, steps पता होना चाहिए कि for loop में पहले ये होता है, and then it goes to condition. Third step is this, fourth step is this, fifth step is this again, and sixth step is this. It will get continued till the time condition is getting false. Same thing is happening here. This is what is your while loop. If you have any doubts, please do let me know. ठीक है, अब हमारा आया है last topic, which is your do while loop. So let's see what is the difference between while and do while. See, basic difference while and do while me is just one thing. Just one thing. I'll tell you about that. Any doubts, please do let me know. Okay, now have a look. So earlier यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा था? What is happening in while loop? Whenever we are running this, what's happening? First of all, 10 is coming, right? 10 is getting printed. See, remember the last code which I wrote here? This one. When I wrote this, right? Output was till 1 to 10. Till 1 to 10, correct? अब ये जो print हो रहा है ये 1, can I say that this 1 is also getting printed because this condition is true? अगर ये condition true नहीं होता तो ये 1 भी print नहीं होता, right? Suppose if I make this condition wrong, so this 1 will also not get printed. Can you see? Can you see this? Nothing is getting printed because ये condition अभी wrong है. So can I say from the starting, if this condition is true, then only any number, even the first number, will get printed if the condition is true. Correct? Correct? Now let's have a look at do while loop. So in do while loop, what happens? So in do while loop, what happens? The first number, the first output will not be based on the condition. द फर्स्ट आउटपुट विल नॉट बी बेस्ड ऑन द कंडीशन. इसको, ये लाइन को आप दिमाग में रख लो. द फर्स्ट आउटपुट विल नॉट बी बेस्ड ऑन द कंडीशन. लेट मी शो यू. सपोज इफ आई राइट हियर डू का स्टेटमेंट, उसके पहले मुझे इनिशियलाइज करना पड़ेगा. so let's say int I equal to 1. सेम एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ, int I equal to 1. यहाँ पे मैंने do का एक लाइन लिख दिया and then I am going to write statement out.println. This is how you write do while, and I'm going to print I. Then I am going to increment. क्या लिख रहा हूँ मैं? Okay, I plus plus, and here I am going to write for each. For each I'll repeat, don't worry. First, let's have a look in this one. So in while, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put up the condition. So let's say the condition is I is less than equal to 10. Same condition लिखेंगे. Okay, this is the do while का syntax. Can you see the syntax? See, syntax में कोई difference नहीं है, बस इतना ही है कि do के अंदर we have the println statement and we have the increment part, और while बाद में आता है. So this is something different from while, but components are same, position बस different है. See, for loop, while loop, do while loop, तीनों same काम करता है. It's doing the same thing. It's just that the position of putting the initialization, increment and condition is different places. So in for loop, in one line itself, we are putting the initialization, condition and increment, decrement. Whereas in while loop, what do? We first write the initialization, then we carry on with the condition, then we write the statement which we want to print, and then we want the increment to happen. But here what we are doing, we have first initialized, and then inside the do we have written the print statement, then we are increasing the value, and then we have written the condition. So remember the line which I told you in do while, I told that the first output will not be based on the condition. So I equal to 1, it's gonna print 1 directly. उसको समय ही नहीं मिला कंडीशन तक जाने का. It didn't get time to even reach till here. It's getting printed. And then here what's gonna happen? It's gonna get increment to 2. So it's gonna now check the condition with 2. So remember the line which I said? I said the first output will not be depending on the condition. First output is getting printed directly. This is what is one of the difference between while and do while. So यहाँ पे 2 का direct first comparison सीधे 2 से हो रहा है, 1 से नहीं. First comparison is directly happening from 2 itself. You'll get the same output. Output will be same. Output will be 1 to 10 only. But this one we have got without getting in the conditional part. ठीक है? This is the do while. For each को repeat करना था. So let's try to see the for each part once. For each part is basically very easy. I will comment this thing. I hope you guys now have understood what is do while. For each is basically the same thing which happens in for, but here we do not try to make it complex by writing initialization, condition and increment, decrement. All those things are not happening. Here what is happening? यहाँ पे एक array होता है. For each में हमेशा आप array के साथ work कर सकते हैं. So in array we have these all numbers, different values. You can have different values here. So we have I here, which I am just taking as a variable, and we have written here a colon which represents each, EACH. So it just says that, hey I, you go there in this array, go to each one of the elements, one by one take all those elements and give it to the user. Okay, so I first goes to ARR first value, which is 7, and prints it. I goes to second value of ARR, which is 8, and then prints it. It goes till the end, and then at last it sees that after 5 कुछ है नहीं, so it stops working. Have I told कब इसको stop होना है? Have I told कब इसको start होना है? Have I told any condition here? No. It's all working automatically. That's what is your for each loop. ठीक है? So I think I have done a great job in explaining all these things. I have done my best, I can say. So if you have not understood, or if some of you have just left the YouTube right now, or just at 4 p.m. itself, I can understand, because it's a 2 hour session, so it's been long. But if you guys are busy, don't worry, come back and see the video again. Okay, please do watch the videos, because if you're not understanding this one, the next videos will not be able to understand easily. Also, please do join the Telegram channel, because here I'll be giving updates and notifications about all our upcoming sessions. So maybe today at 7 or 8 p.m. I'll be coming up with our next session, which is coding session part 1, where what we'll do is, in that coding session we'll be doing some programs, only programs, okay, on the basis of for loop, while loop, do while loop, for each, switch case, if else, इन सारे का हम लोग प्रोग्राम्स करेंगे, सिर्फ प्रोग्राम्स करेंगे. सो मे बी विल ट्राई टू डू सम 20-30 प्रोग्राम्स, और मैं आपको अच्छे से समझाऊंगा कि वो कैसे काम कर रहा है. फाइन, दैट्स व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू. एंड डू जॉइन द टेलीग्राम चैनल, की एंड वैल्यू इन फॉर ईच. Yeah, those, yeah, correct. So those also we'll see in the coding session, we'll try to see. Uh, Please do join the Telegram channel, so that you can get an update about all the upcoming sessions. All the notifications will be given there, so please do join that. And also do subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, and hit the notification bell, so that you get an update in your YouTube app as well. Also, please do like and share, so that more and more number of people will get to know about this. If you want to share this particular video in LinkedIn, tag me and share it, so that more and more number of people will be able to know about this. Okay, so I'll meet you clearly again after 2 or 3 hours, maybe at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Be very, very you know be there in Telegram, because in Telegram only I'll be updating about the session. So be there. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take some break, have something, and then come back soon. Bye bye.